Empire's 20%. No droids, no bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies of that sort anywhere, anytime. We do this for love of Star Wars. And a tip for the Wookiees is a like, a thumbs up on the channel, on this video, a comment, and a jump in the chat. So we got a lot to talk about. I am going to put my reading glasses on, even though they make my eyes look enormous. I'm basically sitting here flabbergasted. First off, I got a chance to look at the book. Obviously, you see the thumbnail. That is the book, the only one at my Target. Maybe someone bought the other one. They don't get a lot of these books at our Target. I will probably have to drive to Barnes & Noble tomorrow, or maybe my husband will, when we're off doing our Steph and Rudy thing, we'll go over there so I can, rummage around the Star Wars thing, because I want to see if they got any in. They probably did. First off, this is my biggest problem. The pages that I took pictures of, you could literally find the argument that they're having in the middle of The Empire Strikes Back or between Empire and A New Hope. As in, the characters obviously have not grown. All right? There's no maturity there. There's no, the thing about Return of the Jedi is that the only argument they really have is Han isn't sure about what's going on with Luke. And, he hasn't been there, and he's probably feeling after effects of the carbonite and all the, the emotional issue that would probably entail, as well as, the physical issues. And the idea that he would be upset about Luke and not really knowing what's going on there is understandable. That's a natural reaction, okay? Luke and Leia have always been close, and it was, kind of set out as a love triangle. And hey, Cross Element, and hey, everybody in the chat, if you're watching, please jump in and say hi. That makes me happy. But once Leia tells him, no, he's my brother, and he doesn't quite understand what that means, but he trusts her enough to have her explain it later. Yo, Planet Musk Vlog. I'm pretty, sure that the argument, hey Phil, the immaturity on Leia's part, what she does apparently is the Galactic Star Cruiser. They go from being in the middle of a goddamn war, the war's not over, we all know that, to jumping on the Star Cruiser, and then they're going near, I guess, some moon, and there's like a prime minister of that moon, and it has a mining colony. So Leia diverts the cruiser's course so she can do some diplomatic stuff, and Han gets pissed. First off, Leia wouldn't do that. We all know that. It literally makes her look like a self-centered, selfish bitch. Okay? They're getting married. This should be the only thing. Trust me, when I got married, you could have had Santa's reindeer land in front of me and I wouldn't have seen them, because I was getting ready. I was getting ready for the wedding. The whole way they get married on Endor. There's still a full garrison of stormtroopers on the other side of the moon. Okay. The war is not over. The Empire suddenly didn't disappear. They're Coruscant. What about Coruscant? You mean they actually left Coruscant? Now you see the people on Coruscant rallying and cheering that the Emperor is dead, but I want you to think about it, okay? I want you to think about it. Why would the Empire give up so easy? All right, it's not like the only fleet the Empire had, except for, Thrawn's little hidden fleet, was on Endor. And oh, by the way, there are other, far-flung members of the Alliance and other rebel ships. Okay, it's not just, it's like, did you ever watch Star Wars, Beth? She says in her little blurb about how happy she was to be able to ruin Star Wars and Han and Leia, that she was first exposed to Star Wars books on a school bus, and it was. Let me see if I can. Let me go look because I put all this out on Twitter, so you don't mind me. Do 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 do. Diddly dee 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 dee. Okay, I'm gonna go into my pic. Nah. Well, let's go into my pictures. Okay, because I want you to hear this because it's such a. Hey, Eldritch. Hey, Lord Hastor. Get into media. Open Sesame. There we go. No, that's not it. Okay, acknowledgements. Ever since I read my first Star Wars novel on the back of the school bus, The Rise of the Shadow Academy by Kevin J. Anderson. Okay. What's a nude? Planet Musk. First off, Kevin J. Anderson is a novelist. He is a writer. He is a good writer. His books, The Jedi Academy, Shadow Academy, all those books were hands taller, better than anything these new authors have ever written. People like Claudia Gray and Beth Reeves should be embarrassed every time they think of the shitty offerings that they put out there. And then the likes of Kevin J. Anderson and, Timothy Zahn. And no, they're not nude pics. Don't be weird. They were, I might make a video of this just to get a little more in depth. I went to the store today, and if you looked at the thumbnail of this, you'd see a picture on the bookshelf, The Princess and the Scoundrel by Beth. I haven't met a triple whopper that I didn't like, Revis. Okay, sitting on the shelf at Target. So I went and looked at it, and I took pictures of some of the pages. They are, it's the laziest writing I've ever seen. First off, it doesn't acknowledge Return of the Jedi at all. Where I picked up, they're fighting. There's no maturity there. There's no finishing of the character arc they'd been on in The Empire Strikes Back. That was done. There should be a growing character arc again. Their lives together, okay? Instead we get this, oh, they're just so passionate, they should always fight. You go with that. Is this what these people see? Is this what they think? I mean, I'm like, so I looked at it, I took the pictures, and, Leia does something that she would never do. Leia would never do that. Leia would never, ever do that. And the reason why is because she's not that kind of person. Okay, she would never force her wants or needs on a ton of other people just so she could do a diplomatic mission to some moon. On her honeymoon. It's like, I'm like, Why even try to do this? They need to stop. In fact, in my opinion, okay, and look, the book is getting reviewed and people I don't think are liking it that much. Um, they kind of shit on it. Okay. Then they're trying to apologize. It's like, no, she doesn't do that. Han wouldn't first off, a guy like Han Solo would never fall in love with someone who's that self-centered. All right. And Leia, in her actions in the movies leading up to the end of Return of the Jedi, is a selfless person. She's a selfless person. And I look at Beth Revis and I go, I need to ask you a question. Did you ever watch these movies? I know you teach writing instruction at some university in North Carolina, but do you honestly understand what character development is? Because, look, guys, I am literally like looking at it. I mean, I just got a message from Mazarus saying that this would get destroyed in the fan fiction group on theforce.net, and it would. And the reason is because it's not consistent with George's who they are. It's consistent with the story group because they hate both characters. So start out Leia is already being a bad wife. Have Han wanting to go off and gamble, and then he buys her a ring in the gift shop of the fucking ship. I want you guys to marinate in that for a second. Now, this woman thinks she's being romantic when she writes this, but she's not. Of course, she has Han carve their initials in a tree on Endor. Oh, and the ring he gives her is the ring with the blue stones that she was wearing on her, wasn't it her right hand? She's not wearing it on her wedding ring, on her wedding finger. But that's the ring he gave her. I have never been so fucking pissed off in my life. And then to read the pages. Beth Revis is supposed to be married too. Okay, I would like her to pull some of this shit on her husband and see how long he would tolerate it. Of course, she's got Han yelling at Leia for pulling this stunt. What else would he do? Give her an applause? Carry her through the ship? They're on their honeymoon. It's a bullshit maneuver. So guess who looks bad in this? Leia. Okay. Han is not a grown-up. He is not, literally, you don't acknowledge anything of the physical injuries or the emotional injuries that he has suffered in Empire Strikes Back. But, so he hasn't really changed, okay? Like he did in Return of the Jedi, okay? There's no acknowledgement of him growing into himself, okay? That is the thing that happened. And Leia grew into herself too, okay? Maybe 16, maybe 19-year-old Leia would have pulled a stunt like this. But Leia Organa at the age of 22, 23, just married, would not do that. It's like, fuck, did you ever? Who taught this woman to write? It would be really, watching these people and seeing all the people that she acknowledged in her acknowledgments is fascinating to me. In fact, if I could get a free book, I'm not going to buy it. You'll never see me buy it. I mean, I would rather cut my own throat than buy this spend my money on it. I don't think so. I mean, let me look a little more, okay? Okay, so let's go here. Oh, and she thanks Pablo Hidalgo too. That's nice. All right. So he's mad because she basically had the Star Cruiser turn around. All right, in this. And because it's on this shitty phone, I can't see it. All right. So she's happy she did it and he's pissed. Han blinked at her. All right. You just talked to Star Cruiser with hundreds of passengers into diverting its path so that you can play at being an ambassador. Who's the asshole in this? It's not him, it's her. Okay? They make him look cheap and tawdry, but she's a fucking bitch. This is awful. Look, I already went off on her, but I'm going to direct it at her when I'm done here. Because this is a crime against Star Wars. This is a crime against fandom everywhere. This is a crime against literature. All right, this is a crime. It's a felony, for Christ's sakes. I'm literally stunned by this shit. Why the fuck does this happen? You want to know what really sucks? Is that none of us have a way to talk to Bob Chapek about this. None of us have a way to talk to Kareem Daniels or any of the people who actually at Disney who are trying to, because I'd say I don't, this is trash. This writer does not acknowledge any of the movies, anything that happened, and it's literally stunning to me how bad it is. And it's a troll. Look, these writers are trolling the fans. And when she mentioned Pablo, yeah, of course it's a troll. Look, anything that motherfucker did and still doing is to fuck with us. And that is the goddamn truth. This book is rubbing our noses in it. I swear to God. It's like they're burning everything down on the way out the door. Okay, so now let's talk about something else right now. John Boyega, Variety article, basically stated he was talking about Moses Ingram and the lies that she was told about the fans being racists. And he says that because Lucasfilm came and really, protected her, I feel better now, but I'm not coming back to Star Wars. Here is the problem. I don't know any fans who did not like the sequel trilogy say anything racist about John Boyega. Okay? I have not seen that. Now, and I'm talking about Fandom Menace. I'm talking about people like us. Now, people who did like the sequel trilogy, the Raylos, went after him. Okay, maybe I'll bring that up to him too. Okay, the reason why race was even brought up in the bigger scheme of things was because some asshole that needs to be fired at Lucasfilm lied to Moses Ingram. That's why. I have not seen any of the messages that she had. I think I've seen some of uh, uh, screen grabs, but that's it. Okay, and they weren't from anybody I know, and they weren't from anybody that would hang out at Doomcock, EVS, or anybody else. Okay, you know, there's always something called AstroTurf. Put a one in the chat if you know. In this instance, I'm not talking about literal AstroTurf. Do you know what the term is? Do you know what it means? Put a one in the chat if you do. Because I'm going to explain it. Back in 2012, Michelle Malkin started talking about astroturfing during the presidential election. You know, going, oh, you know, Mitt Romney, blah, 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 and just trying to basically change people's perception by being concerned trolls. Okay, when I think about what happened to Kelly Marie Tran and that there's no proof of any, you know, fan attacks on her, and that it all came from the media, when I think of what happened with John Boyega, again, it wasn't me. It wasn't, let me see if I can, you know, bring up some people at the time. Abu Nas, Mark with the C, Drunk 3PO, Jeremy, Doomcock, Mazeris, Craig, Dave Pence, none of us, nobody who has a channel said anything negative about John Boyega, okay? Here's the deal. In my opinion, and I think there was proof out there, that those attacks, if they were attacks, probably started inside Lucasfilm to attack the fans and to smear us. Okay, and the only proof of racism against John Boyega, because look, Finn was supposed to be the guy that Ray fell in love with. All right, that's how dipshit Abrams set it all up. The moment the dried up middle-aged hags and the creepy weirdo teenagers saw Mule Face, they got all wet in their panties and went crazy and decided, after the way he treated her, they thought it was so romantic, him putting her out, you know, like that, and then carrying her away. Look, I've seen enough movies in my time that pretty much convinces me that when you see a monster, Dracula, or Creature from the Black Lagoon, or Frankenstein carrying a woman away, there's absolutely nothing fucking romantic about it, okay? Their perception of romance is skewed isn't even the right word. There isn't a word in any language that can describe how bad they are at this, okay? Let's go further. They saw that, they saw how he skull fucked her and thought they'd be the most beautiful couple, and then they were off to the races. And when it looked like Finn was going to be the competition, they were the ones that went after the black man with the white woman. They were, not us. We were like, that's pretty cool, great, do it. Okay, we didn't care. They were. The people who liked the sequel trilogy, who were Raylos, were the ones that did it. There's ample proof. I have it. I have the receipts. All right? But guess what? We're the racists. The people who thought the sequel trilogy was a dumpster fire and hated it, we hated it because we are racist, we're bigots, we're sexists, and I don't know where the homophobe came in to play unless they're talking about Vice Admiral Gender Studies, who's a big fuck you to Han and Leia. Okay? You know, you wait for, I don't know, 20 years or so, 40 years for these characters to get reunited, and we have the C team World Economic Forum activists writing the scripts and the fucking novels. This is why they fail. Okay? They have John Boyega convinced it was the fans who did it. I'm going to go back on Twitter and I'm going to say, the fans who are attacking you, who are saying shitty things and racist things, were not the fans who didn't like the sequel trilogy. They were the Raylos. Your character was standing in the way of Raylo harmony. That was the truth. That was the truth. Okay. You know, and all this Moses Ingram shit did was give, you know, bigger channels a reason to shit all over the show, Kenobi. And it was a good show, okay? I mean, there were some, I think, lost opportunities. I liked Haja, but I'm not convinced that that character was the best that character could be. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't really hurt the show. Because I was looking at the show for Obi-Wan. Okay, I was looking at the show to see how young Luke and Grant Feely is such a cutie pie. He's, you know, girls, your granddaughters, telling you, they're going to be looking at him and going, ooh, I like Grant. And Lyra, she was amazing as Leia. That's what I was watching. And I was waiting with breath that was not bated, hyperventilating for Hayden Christensen. Seeing him back and seeing him welcomed back made me smile. But instead, whoever the fucktard at Lucasfilm who told Moses Ingram, yes, I did, that we were racists, hey Kyle, ruined it. Look, what did I say? What do I say? If you don't want them to own the narrative, take it away from them. Disney has yet to do it. You know how you do it? You go David Zaslav on Lucasfilm. When I'm told by people that the board hates Kathleen Kennedy, why is she still there? You know, that the board wants changes at Lucasfilm, why is this shit still happening? I know this novel about Han and Leia was planned years ago, 2-3 years ago when Iger was still there, but still, you know, how much money and how much of a contagion can Disney itself take before it gets itself into real trouble? You know, I said this to Maze this morning. It would be really nice if someone like David Zaslav, an entrepreneur, preferably American, or Australian, Rupert Murdoch, would buy Disney and then start firing the fuck out of everybody. Zaslav is going to gut DC Comics. EVS has been talking about it. Meanwhile, we get Beth fucking Revis shitting all over Han and Leia, and especially shitting on Leia. And I'm sure she'd have an excuse about why she did it. I'm like, how old is Leia? 23, 22? She's already more mature than her brother or even her husband, who's 10 years older than she is. Phil, you've had that explained to you. Okay? Again, Bob Chapek's position at Disney is not like David Zaslav. David Zaslav owns Warner Brothers, okay? Okay? Chapek works for Disney, all right? Now, we were told by Susan Arnold that he has the board and her behind him. Okay? But there has to be a way for this to be sped up. All right? I don't, again, if they can't, walk into her office, pick her up and throw her out the window, or throw her through the door with all of her shit, like I would, I would say that we need a hard date for her departure. We need to be told. Now, maybe they're afraid they're gonna get the fans all riled up. So what? When the moment it is announced that she's gone, we'll all be happy. And as Star Wars explained, and that bitch that runs it, that lesbo that runs it, she'll be all pissed off. Cool. Good. Good. This is the karma they get for all the bullshit they pulled over the last 10 fucking years. Okay? It is beyond my comprehension why we still have to put up with this. But I'm going to say this. The bullshit with Moses Ingram, that was her believing a lie. And as far as any messages, I would like to have them so I can actually look at them as a copy. And if they came over on Instagram, you really can't follow the IP address. I'm sure there's a way to do it. It would be really fun to get someone who knows a lot about how to do that. If we could get the code for it to find out where it came from. Because I guarantee you it wasn't from the fans. Okay. Again, AstroTurf. Phil, you need not to talk anymore, okay? Because you really don't know a lot about anything, okay? And I'm really getting kind of sick of it. It's like every time you open up your mouth, you sound like a 12-year-old girl. Okay, stop it. A spoiled 12-year-old girl. I have no tolerance for it, okay? I don't, all right? Anyway, I mean, if my dog was acting like that, I'd put him in his kennel till he stopped it. If my horse acted like that, I'd take her out, put her on the lunge line, and tire her ass out, okay? Stop it. That's like asking for the Supreme Court not to be there, okay? Just, it's like, I can't, but there has to be an end point to all this, okay? John Boyega knows, he's a smart guy. He knows the fans are racists, all right? He knows that. He knows we aren't. And I don't feel like having to defend us anymore. But it really bothers me that we're still being pelted with this shit. It's like, is this the only... It's like a skipping record. Lucasfilm, when you make some shit, is this the only excuse that you have? Turn around and blame us? The fuck? Anyway, I gotta go. I've been on for almost 35 minutes. Oh shit. Well, hey, terrible. All right. Maybe I'll go on for longer. So this has been an interesting day. It's been kind of a cathartic day because I really kind of wanted to see what this book was about. And once I cracked it open, I was like, that's not Leia. Leia doesn't do shit like that. But then I realized after looking at the acknowledgments, Beth Rivas thanked Pablo fucking Hidalgo. So then I look at the book and say, this is a fucking troll. This is a fucking troll. All right. I don't care if this woman read Kevin Anderson. She doesn't know shit about Star Wars, doesn't know anything about Han Solo, and treats Leia like a nasty, self-centered bitch. And that pissed me off. Okay, when I'm done, I'm gonna get the copies of the pages, and I'm gonna do a community thing for you guys so you can read what I found. Okay, Han is the one going, "What the fuck are you doing?" Okay, and Leia is just, so it's like, so actually, this is an attack on the princess. Really respectful of everybody. Okay, it's just, anyway, so okay, who is this? Hey, he's full of shit, and I'm done. Okay, I'm mad at him right now. I know you guys all want to believe it, but I've said it to him, and I'll say this again, because I'm about ready. If I could call him, I would talk to him right now and let him have it. That's another reason why I'm pissed off. Kathleen Kennedy just got back from a 40-day vacation. People in her position don't do that shit. Okay? They fucking don't do that shit. Look on our IMDb page. Do you see any new Star Wars projects popping up anywhere? No. The Acolyte's not even listed. And yet, here we are. Okay? Jason Hunt at Sci-Fi for Me, that channel, which is a good channel, I recommend it, basically says they're phasing her out. All right? And as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, after hearing what Jason had to say, and talking to Cameron, and just Valiant Renegade, WDW Pro, I am like, this is clickbait. That's all it is. This is clickbait. And he's going to ruin himself if he keeps doing it. Okay? Now, I know that YouTube is playing games with everybody's algorithm right now. Andre's talked about it. I've seen it on my videos. I should have about 20, 25, 30 people in chat right now, and I don't. That's not my fault. Okay? That's YouTube fucking with us. Okay? Now, if that's the case, then people who are really dependent on the income, hi Grandmaster Jim, then people who are really dependent on the income might go to take extreme measures to get hits, to get clicks, so that AdSense money comes in. And, if it bleeds, it leads. Outrage sells. Okay. But when I hear WDW Pro talk about Kennedy, that he thinks she's out at the end of 2023, and he feels strongly about it, and, Cameron and I have talked about it. He says the same thing. It's like, why are we doing this? And it's almost like people make shit up anymore. Okay, fine, it's entertainment. But there are people out there that take this as gospel truth. Okay, I mean, I don't want to look like CNN, all right? I don't want to look like ESP or MSNBC, and I don't want to look like Fox. Okay, to them, news is entertainment. Especially at Fox right now, okay? And I'm not here for that, okay? You guys, as my subscribers, deserve better. And, you know, I'm telling you, if you can look at her absence from Lucasfilm for 40 days and not understand what that means, people in her position don't take vacations like that. She's 69 years old. She's going to be 70 soon. You know, I don't know why they would. Look, if Ann Sarnoff doesn't get a graceful exit, we've been told the board hates Kennedy. And now Doomcock is saying, no, the board is fearful of firing. You don't know. He doesn't know. I mean, look, none of us know. And look, if you guys remember, I was the one that predicted that if Solo flopped, Rian Johnson wouldn't get his trilogy. Solo flopped. Rian Johnson doesn't have a trilogy. Okay. There you go. So, Doomy, I mean, I read it. I watched a little of it. I left him a comment, which he won't acknowledge. And I'm not being unreasonable. When I look at the literal, I don't, no rumors. When I look at what's going on, from Peter Rice being fired, the numbers for Kenobi dropping inside Disney and Lucasfilm, and her knowing very well that Bob Chapek just was going to get a contract renewal, and she was gone. First picture was from Portugal on the 27th of June, and she didn't come back till like the 5th or 6th of August. That's 40 days. All right, that's 40 days. That's a long fucking trip. Okay? And that's a long time to be gone. Okay? So if you can't acknowledge that, I don't know what to say. That is a BFD. Okay, that is probably the one indication that I was expecting and not expecting at the same time, but that I was kind of looking for. Okay? That's a trip that you take when you want to use all your leave. Okay? And it was with her husband. Their daughters weren't with them. It was with her husband. This is Steph. I'll see you around the galaxy. Cameron just sent me a message.